Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Heart.
First Kill.
First Kill. I forgot what we were talking about. This is So I'm Watching First Kill, Season 1, Episode 5.
First Love.
Would you like to talk about this entirely new show?
Yeah, what the hell?
There were like 4 things in this episode that I was like, huh?
Suddenly, everyone has always known that monsters once existed.
I said to Will, I was like, so apparently they wait till halfway through this episode to drop that everyone just knows about monsters.
Like they were having a monster drill.
Like super casual too. And like one of them was even like, was it a zombie? And it's like, we haven't had zombies in Savannah for decades. And I was like, and he was like, that was the first they said of it. And I was like, I mean, I'd have to go back and watch the first episode again. Maybe there was something that I thought was like a colloquialism. But
yeah.
It was, this whole episode was weird.
Super
I
weird.
was delighted. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And funny and fucking weird, which I'm frequently asking for weird shit.
Yeah.
But
especially, again, like we said, weird shit we haven't seen before.
yeah, well, because again, this is very cliche. They're dealing in lots of cliches and tropes, but not quite like this.
Yeah.
Although now it's giving me weirdly like Hemlock Grove vibes.
Okay.
In ways that it's like, if you combine that with like, what was that Vampire Academy movie that was almost good. Remember, it was like, man, this is so close to being good. But so the girls just sort of like decide they want like a day, like a date or a normal day. So they break into the school and sleep on the school set for Romeo and Juliet.
A little too on the nose.
It was just, and
I don't believe that they brought an actual bed in there, so there's no way it was comfortable.
Well, that's the least of my concerns.
Sure.
The Romeo and Juliet of high school is such a cliche that I would sort of either forgive it or B, expect it if our lead character's name wasn't also Juliet.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of like, oh, you're doing too much of the thing. It's gonna entropy. Like, it's gonna break.
Could we not at least have done, like, Tristan and Isolde or something?
There was something about it. Those are doing Twist. The school play is Underworld.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God.
And it's like, I don't know. It was really weird. So I really like these girls. They don't not have chemistry.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it gives me love for the ages.
Not necessarily. I think they're both good, but I think they're also both green. So it's like not 100% there.
So it was just the pacing of this stuff was very weird. To have like the brawl, the Hunter versus the Legacy Vampire brawl in episode 3, and then have the like first date giggles in episode 5.
Yeah.
It was very strange. They were treating the situation very cavalierly.
Yeah.
And the way that they just sort of like called their parents the next day and because is not the school one of the first places you would look, especially.
They also, where's the principal? Because he was like.
He's monitoring the roof. He's doing rounds up on the roof trying to make sure.
He can't have been actually monitoring the roof or he would have seen them fist fighting. He's monitoring the way to the roof, the path to the roof.
He's standing vigil with a baseball bat in front of that door.
Like,
it was really, really weird. And so they just like hang out in the gym. And then there was that like weird beat where there literally was like a thud in the theater. And Cal was creeped out and Juliet was like, it's just a rat. LOL. And part of me was like, okay, but like, go check. And then it turns out that it was not just a rat.
Yeah.
It was Ashley.
Yeah.
Called it.
As a zombie.
But
now.
also, what do they keep calling her?
Smashly.
Smashly. Gone too soon.
Way too soon.
For a second time.
Yeah.
It was very strange. I'm still hung up on this. So they both call their individual parents and are sort of like, I know that like universe shattering implications just went down last night, but we want a normal day at school. Don't come get us or we'll run away.
It worked.
And cut to both Talia and Margot. Oh, hands tied. Like,
They went to the Karen Wheeler School of Parenting where they can't pass the stairs.
it was so strange. And again, like, if there was any less of it, like if they had given time for any of it to linger more,
Yeah.
I would have called shenanigans.
Sure,
but because
sure,
there was so much weird shit happening,
Yeah.
I was entertained. So they like hang out in school all day. Ben's mad. He's mad because they're just pretending like it's normal.
Yeah.
But then again, now that everybody just sort of knows monsters is a thing, then maybe I am on his side. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It was super weird because he was having a whole confrontation with Noah in the bathroom.
I want to say things about that, but I shouldn't.
I didn't love it. But I didn't love Noah because he was being like a real cock about it.
That's why I feel like I shouldn't, because I learned the wrong lesson when I was in high school, and it says a lot about me. And so I was like, I was like, oh, be grateful for what he's giving you.
Oh.
Like, I was like, you don't get to be a straight dude side piece and get to be demanding about, like...
I don't know.
Again, I know that's the wrong message.
I feel like in 2022, you do get to be demanding. There's no excuse why more
You just
dudes
have to
aren't
be
bisexual.
Consistently ready and available at their any whim for
No.
whatever they'll give you.
No. We should watch
A drop of
Heartstopper.
sweat from
Yeah.
the brow.
No.
What you take's what you can get.
Extremely not. And so I think,
I'm only partially joking.
well, you should be 100% joking. So Noah is a total douchebag, and he's like, this is not a relationship. It never has been, and it never will be. But then he went and got his spine ripped out.
But also, okay, so not to continue.
That's too hard of a punishment.
Yes. This is what he needed was a roller skate to the face.
There you go. Perfect.
No, okay. I'm dropping that. I'm not devil's advocating this for fun, but I am going to say, to Noah's point, if he's up front with what he wants, I mean, if he's making it clear,
Yeah.
and Ben's just ignoring it because this time he's really going to leave his wife.
Sure.
I mean, also, let's cut straight through to it. Team Philippa. I don't think she deserves this. I think
She definitely doesn't deserve a dead boyfriend.
well, that boyfriend, maybe. A dead Noah, because he was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Philippa's the one really getting screwed here. It was very strange. And then the reveal of Zombie Smashley, she just sort of ran through the locker room like, ah! While they were taking pictures, because then on top of it, he was going to out Noah? I don't know.
No,
the whole thing was trash.
He wasn't going to out him. He literally said, if we're not going to do anything.
Oh, for my spank bank.
Yeah.
You know, a picture, a abstract crop of the dude you're making out with touching his pants. The height of erotica, like just, and you know he had like 3 pairs of boxer shorts on underneath those
Probably.
jeans. Like, I don't know. So they were like taking pictures, and they got a picture of like, she looked like straight from the set of Ghostbusters 2.
Sure.
And they couldn't figure out what it was. And then, so we go to Cal, they text it to Cal and Juliet, 2 experts in the field that are like, what are these orbs?
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole thing.
Cal was like, their eyes. And then Cal was like on top of it. She was like, it's probably a zombie. And then she had a whole thing where she was like, zombies are actually really fast.
That was dumb too. Roundabout now, the alarm's going off, and that's when like all hell breaks loose, where they're like, is that one of the monster alarms? And I was sort of like,
and the teacher was like, hold on while I make a phone call and see if it's real or just a drill.
Which I don't know. That I know that this show has no connection with like real world like gun violence and stuff, but
it felt a little.
There was something about a teacher being like, let me call and make sure, that I was sort of like, this feels in bad taste.
Yeah.
Again, not the show's fault, but it can't be divorced from the viewing experience.
Well, also, even just leaving that aside, I feel like Ashley the zombie was like moving so fast that like in that huge auditorium full of kids, I mean, I feel like it wouldn't staying put as like not going, you know.
Well, okay.
If she had gotten in there,
I think the thinking is that they're outside. The zombies are outside.
monsters
I
are
think that's
outside.
the plan, or that's what they're going for. I don't think that's for already within.
To me, it felt very like tornado drills, where it's like hide underneath your desk, and I'm like, you made my flimsy desk that weighs less than I do. Yeah, it's not going to help.
And so anyway, she's like running around through the halls like, yeah, yeah. And she just sort of eviscerates Noah unceremoniously. It was a mess. And so then the girls find her
In the cafeteria.
She's like zombie fighting them. And then she has this like lucid moment. Maybe it was a ploy. I'm not entirely sure.
Cal seemed to think it was a ploy to like get Juliet to like talk to her or whatever.
And so then Cal cut her head off and Cal got scratched. And then Juliet like couldn't
resist the blood.
I hated that. I mean, I know again, that's like check it off the trope list, but I hated it. And the weird red light, it turned
happens
into
every time.
I'm surprised the Kill Bill siren wasn't going off. It was very strange.
It happens every time she's hungry.
I suppose, but we haven't even gotten to the part where Sebastian ate an entire woman.
Okay.
From head to toe.
An entire woman. You are correct. So we're having marriage negotiations with the Davenports.
Also, Eleanor wasn't nearly phased enough.
No.
Like, she was like, must be Tuesday. Yeah. Continue. Sorry, we're having...
Henry Davenport, the one that Margot was supposed to marry, is fine.
Yeah, and he seemed like a good guy until he menaced.
Because he saw Margot talking to Talia.
And it seems like he clocked her, but then let her lie? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Also, his wife? Or mother? Who was
mother?
Mother, okay.
Yeah. God.
That's what I was like. Okay.
Mother.
She was a piece of work.
Yeah. So they're having these marriage negotiations, and fucking the Davenports want 7 children out of this union. And
well, they need a girl because they're matriarchal.
Well, the Atwoods need a girl. The Davenports don't need a girl.
I think so. I think the Legacies are matriarchal.
Oh, I thought it was just the Atwoods.
No, I think the Legacies are.
Okay. Regardless, they need a girl. And so the Atwoods counter with 5, and then they're like, unless the first one is a girl, and then 3. And so it's like, oh, okay, that's like more reasonable. But sort of, she's the one pushing for it the whole time. Eleanor is the one pushing for this marriage the whole time, and it's what I really want, and like blah, 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 whatever. But then like at the first indication that she's going to have to birth more than 2 children, she's like, ooh. And I'm like, what were you anticipating? Like, what do you...
It was too many people's first rodeo.
Way too many people's first rodeo. Because I'm just sort of like, what do you think a like contracted marriage of convenience is for?
Uh-huh.
It's for birthing.
It was very strange. And they were trying to, the Davenports, you said, they were like demanding to see the snake.
Yeah.
Because maybe the hunters stole it, which I get the feeling that snake can take care of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that they are like the keepers of the snake, but I don't think a quad of human hunters can come in and manhandle it.
We also got like not a good enough reason to use the word herpetarium. I was like, all right, Mrs. Davenport. Loretta, apparently.
There were a couple of those. So is the plan that the snake just lives in Sebastian now?
At some point, I feel like he has to, once it's done fixing him, I feel like he has to expel it somehow, or else
or
there's
is
no
that
snake.
Like the catch with this whole, like, because they were like, this is unprecedented that they've turned a maid vampire into a legacy. So is the catch that he's only legacy so long as the Malkia is in him?
I feel like that's short-term thinking, because the Malkia has to be there at everybody's coming of age.
I mean, Sebastian can get on a plane
and bite.
How is that weirder than anything else we saw?
I don't know.
It was so, and he's molting, but like only
on the cheekbones.
To the point where I was like, maybe it's like one of those weird Star Wars bandages, like when Kylo Ren just had like a checkered board on his cheek.
Sure.
I was like, I mean, I'll accept it, but no, he's like shedding, and they're not talking about it until Ellen. Yeah. Well. Like halfway through when Eleanor very casually says it, like we all, like it's like goes without saying. And I'm like, no, we needed to be told that.
You need to say that.
It was very, very odd. And so I do, because Eleanor is a bit of a gray character. I do love that she's devoted to her father.
Yeah.
And I liked the conversations with Davina. The Davina actress really kicked it into high gear.
Polly Draper.
This episode, she was really good. I liked her like sequins and all that. But basically, yeah, she like Eleanor leaves and she chases after her to be like, get down there, marry that guy, and lob some children out.
Yeah, have 12 children, 12 babies. Fast as you can.
Sebastian had enough.
Yeah.
And so then he ate her.
Unhinged his jaw. Turned kind of snaky.
We just see, what's his name? Will Swinson. The camera just zooms in on Will Swinson right here with green eyes going, ha, 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 and then like blood splatters.
Yeah. It was a lot.
It was giving me sort of like,
I like am desperate. I'm desperate to know that there's no way this show was originally made for Netflix. I feel like that's impossible.
It's giving me, I mean, not just the obvious Teen Wolf comparison, but it's giving me, remember that glorious 3-year period where MTV was like, what if we made really weird shows?
Yeah.
Like scripted shows?
Weird, cool shows.
Speaking of Elizabeth Mitchell, or no. Cynthia Watros was on.
Oh, yeah.
You can see how.
Yep.
Even though they didn't share.
No.
Screen time on Lost. Again, Eleanor just stands there.
Yeah, and watches it happen.
And she's kind of got that like...
Yeah. So Margot comes upstairs.
And they just tell her.
She's like, where is my mother? And he's like, here's the thing about your mother. And she's like, seriously, where is she? And he just goes, I ate her. And she's like, you ate my mother.
So she acknowledges that it's kooky.
Yeah.
But she was also okay with it. Like because
he literally was like, I won't stand for anyone besmirching your good name.
And she kind of was like, that's fair.
Fair enough. I get it.
I'll go tell the Davenports to leave.
Yeah.
It was so weird, the whole thing. And so basically we ended with Cal also Cal was being dumb with Juliet.
Yeah.
Because she got clearly
cut,
bleeding and they're going through a bit of like not really gauntlet, but it's like they're spending time. They're in the early part of the relationship. Like you have to be a little bit prepared to ease into some of this stuff.
Sure.
And Cal, she's just being so obtuse.
Juliet is like, I can't handle it, and she's like, you're gonna have to get used to it. Like I'm surprised she didn't like take it and smear it on her face.
And then just sort of like 20 minutes pass, and she's just like confused again, and it's like, oh, are you still on that? And it's like, yes.
It's a whole thing, Cal.
Yes, she is still on it. And so then we get that Oliver is just the big bad.
He's at least a little bad. He is bad.
Him and Carmen, who may or may not be elemental, they haven't used the word witch. I used that word.
I think she's a witch. Yeah.
But they haven't used the word.
No, Apollo and Theo said witch.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. They planned, like Oliver's been like secretly watching, trying to save Juliet from herself or something.
So his intention was for Juliet to eat Ashley.
So I guess I was right. That weird like lights cutting thing
was on purpose.
They tried to engineer it Hereditary style, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And also Carmen, like, considering that she's doing like stealth work, she stays making sure that they get a good look at her face. Like she's like, "Hey, queen," before she like dashes out.
Because Oliver had the nerve to be like, "You've got a good memory," and I was like, "They saw her head on in headlights last night."
Team Rocket over here is like, I'm like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Team Rocket.
It was so weird. The whole thing. Again, though, delighted.
No, so fun. So fun.
Like, okay.
And then they needed a liver anyway. So
for spells.
Yeah. So
with a Z.
Carmen took the liver, and then they needed a zombie also just for funsies.
I don't know.
It's bonkers. Oh, he wants to oust Eleanor. That's what his deal is he wants to oust her because she's the one that made the family throw him out.
Well, apparently with good reason.
Yeah.
Because also Margot has just given Eleanor. She's like, okay, you're now the keeper of the Emerald Malkia that's in your father. It's weird. He's not giving me gay anymore, but now there's sort of like, I'm like, stop talking to your daughter that way.
Thank you!
It was like it wasn't, there was nothing specific that I could be like, that right there is what was inappropriate. But I was like.
The vibes were everywhere. Yeah. The vibes were floating all around. I didn't love it.
She was wearing that red dress.
She was. And that bold red lip.
Well, my favorite, because we open in on her. I'm starting to think that what is their name? Fairmont?
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that the Fairmont women don't exist if there's not someone there to witness them.
Sure.
Because when the scene comes up,
they are just like the war boys.
Eleanor is in her bureau, just sort of like, and then the camera's on her, and she's like, oh.
Oh, right,
and I'm like, how long has she been trapped in this? Like, I don't know. It's very, very, very funny.
Oliver also mentioned that Juliet could be human. Carmen has a spell for that. If Juliet helps him, I'm obviously.
I mean, I believe it, but also it's just sort of it's giving me the Vampire Diaries with the rings, where it's like. In the first season, it's like, this is unprecedented. Yeah. And by the third season, it's like the gift bags at the Grammys.
It's it's like the Salvatores only have the rings because they've been alive for 200 years. And then it's like, by the time everybody else wakes up from a vampire, a Bennett witch has already crafted them a ring.
Falling out of trees. Like
no, it's only ever Bonnie. Bonnie only.
She's like the key maker from the Matrix.
Don't even get me started on once you get to legacies, because there's vampires all over that school. Every single one of them has a ring. It's hysterical.
So that was episode 5. I think it's going to be a real make it or break it moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I sort of, if anything, I'm actually a little bit worried because I feel like it's set a precedent where I'm like, if these next 3 episodes aren't equally as nuts, I'm going to be
a little disappointed.
Yeah. Because it was, as they say, bad in a fresh way.
It's true. It's true.
So, okay. Well, bye. Check back later. Like and subscribe. All of that.